Living in caves. Where do I live? Hello, my name is Papa and I am a prehistoric human who lives in a cave. Come and find out about my home. A cave is a very big hole inside a mountain or hillside. The word cave comes from the Latin cavus, meaning hollow. Caves aren't made by humans like modern tunnels are but form naturally instead. They can be carved out by water and wind or occur because of a disaster, such as a landslide. They are very solid and big compared to huts. Plus you can keep a fire going inside without worrying that it will burn your house down. And remember, caves also protect you from the wind. They are really cozy. But they are darker and damper than huts and much colder. The open entrance lets in anything including dangerous animals like saber-toothed cats and prehistoric bears. So we've come up with a way to keep them out. What's a cave like? There are many types of caves, big and small. They can have one room or lots, be close to water or at the top of mountains. Prehistoric humans move about in groups searching for food. When we've found an area that has caves, our tribe settles down. The best locations are near water where we can go fishing without having to travel a long way. But mountaintop caves have fantastic views. Often caves aren't just a single holes in rock, but they are made up of several rooms, just like the different ones you have in your house. The inside can even take the form of a cross or star. Some are round, others are square. They are truly amazing. How to find the right cave? Moving from one place to another is tiring even without that much stuff. When families like mine find a new cave to move into, we have to work out if other people or animals are already living there. Coming face to face with a bear or some saber-toothed cats is to be avoided at all costs. Not all caves can be turned into comfortable homes. You need to know how to choose a good one. Lots of different animals live in caves, including giant sloths, prehistoric bears, or saber-toothed cats. They are safe places for them to raise their little ones or to hibernate in during winter. If there's a fire burning at the entrance, this means it is already a home for other people. To find out if a cave is occupied by animals, there's only one thing for it: you have to go inside and look. Prehistoric humans prefer to stick together in groups. We live in small tribes made up of a few families and split the daily tasks between us. Life in a cave got a lot better for us humans after we discovered fire. A bonfire burning at the entrance is great for scaring off enemies, whether they are other humans or animals. We use torches to heat our homes and light them too. It isn't that easy to make a door for a cave. But there are a few different types to choose from. If the opening is small, then we can use a large rock or construct one out of animal skin sewn onto the wooden frame and leant against the entrance. Home sweet home. This cave is our home. I will show you how we make it nice and cozy. There isn't much furniture, but we're warm and always eat our meals together. In the middle of the cave is our kitchen where there's always a fire burning. This is the area we eat and keep plates and the things we cook on. Around the fire, the women sew and prepare meals while the children play games. The materials we use to decorate our caves are wood, stone, animal skins, bones and clay. There is not that much furniture though, just some big stones to sit on. Instead of lamps, we have torches. Deep in the cave, but not too far from the fire, is the bedroom. Animal skins make great mattresses and bed covers. We all sleep huddled together to keep each other warm. At night the adults take turns to keep the fire burning. Our bathrooms is outdoors. Amazing caves. Caves are fascinating places, even the ones that people never lived in. They were all created a very long time ago. To enter one is really exciting because you get a feeling for how ancient it is. Some caves are very important because prehistoric humans decorated them with drawings. Famous examples include the caves of Lascaux in France and the Cave of Hands in Argentina, which is covered in handprints. Some caves are truly enormous. There is a cave at Postojna in Slovenia with 20 kilometers of tunnel and lots of rooms. Legends say that a dragon lives there. The Cave of Sun Dung in Vietnam in Asia is the biggest one ever found in the world. There is even a little jungle growing in it. Inside some caves, there are pools of water, lakes, or underground rivers. It was very useful to have water so nearby, a bit like having your own private swimming pool. Other prehistoric homes. Because it isn't always possible to find a good cave, we prehistoric humans have learned to build other types of shelters. Take a look. Natural shelters. If we are on a journey and don't have time to build a shelter, we'll use what we find. For example, a rocky outcrop to sit under, a tree with lots of branches and a thick covering of leaves, or big boulders with gaps in between them. Early huts. Our ancestors' first huts were round and made from branches, bits of bark, leaves and mud. When people started to settle in the same place for longer, they built rectangular using logs, skins, and bones. To make them even stronger and waterproof, we cover them in animal skins. Coastal living. Houses on stilts mean we can live on the water too. First, upright wooden poles are buried at the bottom of the lake. Then we build a platform made of smaller logs, and finally our hut, which could have a roof made of straw. There is a walkway to connect the house to the shore, but we pull it up at night. That way nothing dangerous can get in. Mama and Papa, the prehistoric humans, were very happy living in the new cave and had done lots of things to make it more cozy. Papa made holes in the walls to store their food so that his family had plenty of things to eat and he didn't need to go out hunting every day. And Mama wouldn't have to gather fruits, berries, and roots so often. However, winter was on the way and it was beginning to get really cold. Mama thought that the family needed something warm to cover themselves with. The family requires furs, but for now, they would have to settle for what they had. In the driest place in a cave, Mama and Papa had put some leaves and dried grass down to make soft beds. Meanwhile, their children Bobby and Bubba discovered that their cave was much bigger than it looked. In fact, it went on and on down a long narrow passage. It was huge. One day, while exploring the cave, Bobby and Bubba thought they could hear voices which made them really scared. "Someone is there," in the dark, they shrieked as they ran back towards the entrance of the cave where Mummy was kindling the fire and Daddy was chipping at stones to make knives and arrowheads. Papa immediately took a little torch and went exploring for himself. He walked and walked until he too heard noises. But the voices didn't scare him as he thought that they sounded friendly. Papa carried on walking and discovered that the passage led into another cave, which opened out onto the other side of the hill. The caves were twice as big as he had thought. It was so large that another prehistoric family was living in it too. This new family definitely weren't cold though, because they were wearing beautifully stitched furs. Their furs had been sewn together using the extremely strong needles that had made of animal bones. Soon two families had become friends and they began to swap things. Papa gave his new neighbor some blades he'd made out of stone and, in exchange, they presented Mama with some needles. And when one family had too much food, they gave their leftovers to their neighbors. So over time, the two houses became one and they were all happier. How much happier? Well, twice as happy. Sunshine for Papa. It was getting colder and colder in the cave. Mama, Papa, Bobby and Bubba had collected lots of supplies for the winter. But as they had kept the fire alight all of the time, they'd already used most of their wood. "I will go outside and look for some more," said Papa one morning. "But the snow is deep," sighed Mama. "You will catch a cold." Papa smiled and said, "I'll wrap up nice and warm." After all, We can't manage without our fire." Bobby started jumping up and down excitedly and said, "I will come with you, Daddy." "Please, can I?" "No. It is far too cold for you. Stay at home and help to make something yummy for me to eat, okay?" said his daddy. And so Papa went out into the freezing icy wind to hunt for more firewood on his own. But a thick blanket of snow had covered all of the branches that had fallen from the trees. This meant he had to dig down really deep to find any of them at all. Papa walked and he dug and dug so he could bring the wood back to the cave. By evening he had gathered a great pile and he headed home. But Papa was shivering from the cold and he went straight to bed and slept the whole night through. In the morning he was still shivering, so Mama felt his forehead. He was burning up. Papa was ill, he had a fever. "We must keep him warm and try to get him to eat something," said Mama. "I will make a nice hearty broth. And you, Bobby, you can look after the fire." A whole day went by, but Papa still had a temperature and he just slept and slept. Baba was worried and said, "What will happen? Why isn't Papa getting better?" "He's not well," her mummy replied. "But you must not worry. Our cave is warm and he will get well again." Then Mama came up with an idea to keep Baba busy. Mama took a bit of charred wood that was near the fire and gave it to her. "Take it," she said. "Draw something on the wall." So Baba drew a picture of herself, a bear and a great big sun. Then she fell asleep next to her daddy, and when she woke up she saw that Papa was awake and grinning at her. "You're better," cried Baba. "Yes, thanks to Mummy's broth, Bobby's fire and your big hot sun," said Papa as he hugged her. "But it's only a drawing, Daddy," she said. "But you did it with so much love. There is nothing else that can make you feel so warm inside, my darling." The end.